Okay. How did I'm trying to remember this Fuji one. That was a while ago. Yeah. Oh, this wasn't recent. Yeah, well, that's what I said. Did this next week. Okay. Yeah, it must have been. I think it might have gotten this and signed it. Turnover, Tyler. That was before Taylor. Or they didn't finish what they needed to do. Or? I don't remember if we held it. Did we I remember asking them because it was just a renewal. The city actually. 4/9/20. We didn't have this.
My God, you gotta get.
That wasn't. Wasn't it? That was. I know. I'm trying to figure out.
Oh, there's Mr. Jackson.
Or did I just not remember that meeting? Yeah. Oh, no, because that was our last. Yeah.
Madam Mayor, we're ready whenever you are.
Thank you so much. Thank you to everyone for coming today to the City of Middleton's Common Council. Today is April 16th, and we're opening the Common Council meeting. Assistance with roll call, please.
Yes, Alder Schaefer.
Here.
Alder Wokus.
Here.
Alder Cole.
Here.
Mayor Kuhn.
Here.
Alder Nelson. Alder Jackson appearing via Zoom.
Here.
Alder Hanairo.
Here.
Alder Lorman.
Here.
Alder Crow.
Here.
Good. Usually we go to public comments, but seeing the very large audience, I think we should move to proclamations.
You have to do the public hearing, item number 1. It's a timed event.
Thank you. The time is 7:32. The first is public hearings. ZYC Middleton LLC, Fuji Sushi and Hibachi is requesting, oh golly, my screen just changed, is requesting a Class B fermented malt beverage and Class B intoxicating liquor license located at 1610 Deming Way with Yao Kai Zhang, 1138 Great Sun Prairie as the agent. Is there anyone here to speak? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing. Would we like to do the presentation along with the proclamation? All right. So starting with the presentation, the 2023 Sustainable Middleton Award presentation.
Good evening. I'm Deb Weitzel, and Dick Lathrop is with us, and Christy Palmermacher, who is the chair of the Sustainability Committee for Middleton. And we're on the subcommittee for the Sustainable Middleton Awards, and that's why we're here tonight. This is the second year for Sustainable Middleton, and it was wonderful to have even more applications for this award than we had last year. So it's a growing program. The Sustainable Middleton Awards recognizes businesses, nonprofits, and individuals who have implemented significant sustainability actions in the city of Middleton over the past year or more. We want to recognize these achievements, but also to inspire and motivate others to implement their own sustainable actions. And what are these actions? They would be one or more of the following categories: energy, as in lowering your carbon footprint, land use steward, environmental education, local sustainable healthy food, transportation innovation, waste reduction, and water quality or water conservation.
Good evening.
Tonight, we are pleased to honor 8 awardees for significant actions that they have taken to help make the Middleton community more sustainable. All awardees are receiving a certificate designed by a Middleton High School graduate. And I'm taking off the line here, but this was my daughter, but Lisa hired her earlier on, so no nepotism here. The certificate describes each awardee's sustainability accomplishments. Businesses and organizations are receiving their certificates mounted on plaques locally handcrafted from reclaimed wood from fallen trees in Middleton's Bach Forest. And I'm going to describe a little bit more about that when I hand out the plaques. Individuals in one nonprofit not able to hang a plaque, I mean, you need a wall, right? So you can hang. In addition to their certificate, are also receiving $100 gift card from the Middleton Sustainability Committee. Deb.
And the 2023 Sustainable Middleton Awards receiving certificates and gift cards are, the first one will be Keneal Corner Conservancy. Can you please come forward?
Where should we best get this photo?
You might want to.
Yeah, it might be best in the middle.
Want to be in the front?
Yeah.
Yeah, come to the
Okay.
front.
Can I read this?
Yeah, go up in the front.
Oh, go. All right. My turn anyway. Okay. Okay, Keneal Corner Conservancy for converting a small, weed-infested, neglected lot into an attractive, sustainable conservancy by adding a burrow and native prairie plants beneficial to pollinators, and for installing a reading bench and a little free library with educational materials for users of nearby nature trails. Congratulations. Whoops.
There's your gift certificate. Okay, next up. Yeah, I got the photo.
Yeah, can you move to the middle? Get a
Oh, get the
photo to your left.
Emily.
Deb.
Go.
Right in the middle.
Give that to them. Next up, I'm a water guy and I wanted to be able to announce this one. This is Herb Garn. Many of you know him from working a whole career at the U.S. Geological Survey. The award is for decades of the certificate.
It's right here.
I'm sorry. You're supposed to have it written.
Oh, sorry. I didn't have it ready.
Herb, come on up.
You didn't have rehearsal.
Just like. For decades of exceptional environmental stewardship of Middleton's water resources through many sustainability actions that include being a founding member of Friends of Pheasant Branch Conservancy and co-chair of its watershed committee, building a strong citizen-based water monitoring program for the Pheasant Branch Creek system, and educating students and the public about protecting and enhancing the community's water resources, including the Conservancy springs. Congratulations.
And the next one goes to James Struve. Would you please come forward?
Okay, we're going.
This podium's in the way, isn't it?
Come on up. Brian, use the mic.
You want to use the microphone.
You want to use the microphone?
Yeah,
Take
read
it
first,
off.
then go take it,
If we could have it handheld, that would
No.
even be better. Perfect.
because you got a broadcast on the web.
Okay, I thought I was loud enough. I used to be the cheerleading coach at Middleton High School, so I thought I had my cheerleader voice on. Okay. James Struve for donating $50,000 to seed Pheasant Branch Conservancy's acquired farmland acreage. The seeding established a platinum prairie habitat that supports endangered grassland birds and other wildlife, and that provides improved water quality and flood control, increased carbon sequestration, a more diverse seed source, and other prairie plantings, and enhanced recreational and educational opportunities for the community. Congratulations. And the next award goes to Susan West. Please come down. Susan West, for 2 decades of sustainable habitat restoration work in Middleton, including organizing volunteers to conduct a major landscape restoration of Middleton Hills Oak Savanna Conservancy area, mentoring and helping students maintain native prairie at Northside Elementary School, and landscaping her own yard with native plants. Congratulations. Congratulations.
This next award, Deb and I had to arm wrestle for, but I'm a little bit more physically stronger than her. Not that she's not a tough cookie. This is for Daphne Joyce Wu. And somebody here, yes, Leah Williams from the school. And Daphne, for her leadership in creating the Middleton High School Green Team, for working tirelessly on the passage of the school district's multifaceted resolution called Global Warming Through Clean Energy, Waste Reduction, Sustainable Choices, and Environmental Education. For creating the Dane County Youth Environmental Committee to accelerate change in the high school students' communities throughout Dane County, Wisconsin, and for serving 3 years as a member of Middleton's Sustainability Committee and actively participating in many committee events. I just want to say something offline here. We had our own Good Neighbor Fest celebration for 2 days. We had a booth, and our committee people were rotating on for 2-hour shifts. Daphne served the entire time because she was so dedicated to the cause. And now she's at Yale University and doing some amazing things. And so we really felt that she really deserved this award.
It's wonderful.
Oh, got a photo. Get the photo. And so now we are going to give out the plaques. These are people with walls to hang them. And the 2023 Sustainable Middleton Award winners receiving plaques are, and before Deb announces the first one, I want to read I want to read what's on the back of the plaque. So the wood used in the Sustainable Middleton plaque was salvaged from storm-damaged trees in the Pheasant Branch Conservancy's Bach Forest. The Middleton Lands Department arranged for sustainable forestry advocates to mill the trees on site in 2012 and 2013. The mill boards were then stacked and dried for years inside the Middleton Recycling Center. Local woodworkers and Middleton Sustainability Committee members and associates crafted each plaque in February of 2023. The award certificate was designed by a graduate of Middleton High School and Madison College. So Deb will announce the first winner.
Okay, and the next winner, Holy Wisdom Monastery.
Who would like to vote? Okay. Yeah.
Oh, I haven't read the, we're not ready yet. Let me read
Maybe someone
okay.
else.
Okay. And offline here, I used to also teach the environment classes at the high school. And one of the field trips that we would take is to Holy Wisdom Monastery because they were platinum LEED certified. And the year that happened, they beat out the Aldo Leopold Legacy Center. And I'm like, whoa, they're right here in Middleton. We got to go. So, and they've done amazing things since. So Holy Wisdom Monastery for installing a 300 kilowatt solar array with phased plans for battery storage to utilize excess energy and plans for converting the retreat and guest house's HVAC system to geothermal. These changes together will allow the monastery, with its extensive sustainable prairie landscape, to produce 100% of its energy needs from renewable resources, making it Wisconsin's first net zero retreat center. Congratulations, well deserved.
Okay. The next one is the Pfizer Middleton site. Please come up. They received this award for creating a net zero master plan to reduce water and energy usage while cutting greenhouse gas emissions 95% by 2040. Action plans include installing rooftop solar panels, an indoor chilled water handler, and energy efficiency metering. Early easy win actions, including fixing many building air leaks. And just go offline, on their application, they had 66 leaks they identified and they plugged them by thermal imaging type technology, I guess. And replacing damaged HVAC rooftop coils that together saved 71 megawatt hours of electricity. Overall, first year actions produced a 13% decrease in water use, a 10% decrease in energy use, and a 7% decrease in greenhouse gas emissions. And I think they've already been announced to get another solar array system approved.
488.
What was that again? How many?
488 kilowatt hours.
Wow.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's give them a great hand. Thank you. Get your envelope here. We have an envelope for you that you can carry. Yeah, yeah. Well, the last award I am particularly excited to announce, and that would be for the Cromery Middle School. Please, all people here for Cromery Middle School, come up. It's so great to see all of these youth here involved with these activities. So for their award is for implementing, installing sustainability practices in the rebuilt school, including geothermal heating, cooling, solar water heating, LED lighting, rooftop and parking lot runoff directed to rain gardens maintained by sixth grade students with guidance from the Pheasant Branch Conservancy naturalists, and for environmental actions, including student-led efforts to increase recycling practices and reduce food waste with plans for composting. And I know some of you might be able to tell us a little bit more about some of what your plans are. So I will give you the mic over to whoever would like to speak.
Hello, my name is Abby. I'm a 7th grader at Cromery and a member of Green Team. I may know Green Team from the things we've done to make things better at our school, from the lunchroom food audit and new lids on the recycling bins last year to the marker recycling bins this year. But we also want to educate our fellow students about what they can do to recycle. So that's why this year we made 2 lessons, one for the teachers at our school about recycling in the teachers lounge, and another for the students at our school about how they can recycle at school, and hopefully they will eventually do it outside of school correctly. Okay.
Anybody else like to speak?
Hello, my name is Lena. I'm a 7th grader and a member of Green Team as well. Like Abby said, one of the projects that Green Team has worked on this year is marker recycling bins. We wanted to make it so our school can recycle more than the normal recyclables. To do this, we designed and created recycling bins that can recycle dried out markers, highlighters, and glue sticks. This is an example of one of our recycling bins right here. We put one of these special recycling bins in every classroom in our school that uses these supplies on a regular basis, so it made it easy for the students to recycle these things. Our hope for this recycling project is that we can reduce the number of school supplies that are being thrown away instead of recycled. If this goes well, our dream for next year would be to add something else to the list of things that we can recycle now instead of thrown away using special recycling bins. Thank you.
I just like to add one thing here. The other plaques are from cherry wood, and this particular one was the last one we had left over from black walnut. And I wanted to save it because last year we gave a plaque to the Middleton Cross Plains Area School District for their Pope Farm School. And my wife was actually the chair of the team that was to find the referendum passed to get the budget. And so I wanted the best plaque to hang in Cromery. So let's get the photo. Okay, yeah. Okay, Debbie, you're up.
And one last thought. Sustainability happens when everyone is mindful of environmental actions that reduce Middleton's carbon footprint and that make our community a healthy and great place to live and work. Applications will open in December for the 2024 Sustainable Middleton Awards. I hope you apply. Thank you.
We're gonna try to get a proclamation and a photo of everybody. Yeah. Okay. So please, nobody leave that's in here.
Thank you. All right, so moving on to proclamations, we're going to start with the honoring the winners of the second annual Sustainable Middleton Awards. Go ahead.
Yes, I'm reading the proclamation honoring the winners of the second annual Sustainable Middleton Awards. Whereas sustainability is one of the 4 core principles in the City of Middleton's strategic framework, and the city is committed to practicing and incorporating sustainability into all areas of the city as an organization and a community. And whereas the Sustainability Committee announces its second annual Sustainable Middleton Awards to recognize individuals, businesses, and organizations who have implemented significant sustainability actions in the city over the past year or more. And whereas this year's winners include 1 business, Pfizer Middleton site, 2 nonprofit organizations, Holy Wisdom Monastery and Cromery Middle School, MCPA SD, and 5 individuals, Herb Garn, James Struve, I apologize if I'm mispronouncing, Susan West, Daphne Joyce Wu, and the Keneal Corner Conservancy volunteers. And whereas these award winners further well-being for all and are early adopters of innovative carbon footprint reduction strategies and the protection of our public lands, waters, soils, and pollinator species. Now, therefore, the Common Council of the City of Middleton and Mayor Kuhn hereby join the Sustainability Committee in honoring the many contributions these community leaders have made to further sustainability in their organizations, businesses, and the community at large. This proclamation was adopted at a regular meeting of the Middleton Common Council on the 16th day of April, 2024. This is Nelson. I move approval.
Yes, is there a second?
Schaefer seconds.
Any comments? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
I'll come up for a photo, please.
Enormous picture.
Does he?
Ginormous.
I love that.
These lights aren't helping. Huh?
Is it different tonight? Is it
It's seeing, I don't know if it's the weather too.
I just like turn my head and I'm like.
I know how horrible it is.
Oh my God. Congratulations.
I got labyrinthitis for 3 weeks one time.
What is that? Where like, is that like tunnel vision?
No, it's where similar to vertigo, but it's the bones in your inner ear. Get inflamed.
What came out this picture?
We're kind of.
Good job. That was wonderful.
Thank you for your indulgence of our time.
Yeah.
No, thank you for everything.
Good job.
So next time I'm a woodworker too. I'm gonna have my basement shop. So I'm gonna need more flags. You got another saw.
Good to see you.
Let's circle back.
We'll go Arbor Day and then I'll go.
Somebody else. Otherwise I feel.
Yes.
Circle back, so otherwise. We're just gonna take a minute to let the crowd clear out and then we'll begin again. We're gonna start with public comments and step back to that. So Tim Gary, when you have a chance to come to the podium.
Well, she wants to go back to public comments. She only did that.
That's like 90% of the people gone.
Before we get.
First, most of the
Tornado.
family of the council.
Hey, Lori, now you're right.
That's in the basement of the library.
I'm not hot yet because my feet are still soaking wet.
Oh, well, they're sweet.
Yeah, and it's all I can smell.
Radio.
Like, gosh, it's gross. It might be giving you vertigo. Wet leather is just the, sorry.
We were living in Sheboygan, was traveling business.
I don't smell. Good. I just,
Is Tim Gary in the
leather
room?
jackets when they get wet.
Step out.
What cows?
Tim?
That just smells like wet poo.
All right. In that case, I'm gonna just note that Tim Gary, as an agenda item, wanted to support the stormwater utility. Ah, there he is. My apologies.
Sorry.
It's hard to hear, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so it's 8 o'clock. So Tim, can you go ahead and say your name, your address, and you have 3 minutes to speak?
Sure. Tim Gary, 7310 Elmwood Avenue, just around the corner from here. I want to thank this council for resisting the stormwater utilities August recommendation to have an April referendum. I think that a November referendum is a good idea because more participation gives you more confidence in the outcome, regardless of it's in favor or against. I am in support of a referendum to occur to reestablish funding that is necessary to operate our stormwater system. We benefit from it downtown. We saw when water was backing up during the storm in 2018 is a big issue. I'm concerned that the original $15 was designated as somewhat arbitrary, which I read in the packet. I would hope that decisions are, made with intent and understanding even by future councils that previous council did have some reason to it, and it should be history should be a part of how you address future decisions. You can't be held by history, but you just do need to recognize that it was set at $15 for a reason. And then we increased it with a referendum in 2019. I supported that wholeheartedly. I thought that it was a reasonable amount, especially with Joanna Richard's recommendation that it be sunset and that we can come back and do another reassessment. We're here. It's a good idea. I respect the options that are provided in the rate survey. I wish that we could have ERUs that take into consideration property efforts. I retain 80% of my house's stormwater due to things that I put on my property. I maintain it. It's low maintenance. I understand why you can't, because it's difficult to have that enforcement and make sure that the systems still work. Wish you could. If you come across a way to do it, please think about that. And then this city received $900,000 in additional shared revenue. And I think that would go a long way towards helping with our infrastructure needs. And there's an opportunity for us to maybe right-size the referendum dollar amount. I don't think that $95 is going to be palatable by folks. It is a dramatic increase. I think that the $55 option is something that you ought to think about if you want to possibly have success, because we need to think about politics as well. The folks who are suffering from inflation and wage gains may not see them being both equal. I think you have more success with $55. So those are my thoughts. I support the referendum. I support it at $55, and I also support traffic calming devices on Elmwood Avenue.
Thank you. Thank you. Is there any other public comments? Oh, go ahead. Please state your name and address, sir.
Hi there. Ken Wiesner, 3300 Conservancy Lane, Middleton. I'm at the board of directors at the Friends of Pheasant Branch Conservancy. I'm co-chair with Herb Garn, one of our award winners of the Watershed Committee at the Friends. Three things. The health and ecological well-being of the Conservancy is critically dependent on stormwater flow quality as it enters the lowlands, wetlands, and whatever that we're trying to reestablish. The contributing area is literally all the city of Middleton, out towards Springfield, down past Menards in Middleton, in Madison. It's a large area. We believe the city needs a very effective and contemporary stormwater management program. And we commend the folks that contributed to the rate study, which you have on the agenda tonight. We think it does an excellent job of laying out a good case for increased fees in line with other communities in the neighborhood, in the area, this part of Dane County. Third, the Friends stand ready to help to support a referendum if you decide to go forward with that route. We have the ability, since we're non-government, to do lobbying and those kinds of things. And it's a really important topic for us. And we're looking forward to working with the city on whatever it takes to get the referendum passed in November. Thank you.
I appreciate that. Is there anyone else that would like to speak? All right, I do have public comments. My name is Emily Kuhn, and I live at 2425 Middleton Beach Road. I'm just going to read, there is a charity that I want to highlight. The leader is here in Middleton. Her name is Ahava Patel, also known as Hava. And the group is called Jack and Jill of America. It's a membership organization of mothers with children ages 2 to 19, dedicated to nurturing future African American leaders by strengthening children through leadership development, volunteer service, philanthropic giving, and civic duty. And I want to share that the children in the metro area from this organization have collected and donated 80 plus diverse children's books to Madison Reading Project in September of last year. In December of this last year, raised funds through popcorn sales, donating $500 to Shelter from the Storm for transitional living space for women and children. In January of this year, collected and donated 297 pounds of food to Badger Prairie Needs Network. And last month, donated over $1,200 worth of black hair care products to YWCA Madison and bought from local businesses. And in March of last month, collected and donated over $200 to the Jack and Jill of America Foundation to address issues affecting African American children and family through investing in programs that provide quality education, healthcare, and a safe environment. And the reason that I share that is just as we saw children step forward tonight, supporting the environment and the Green Team, this is another organization that is supporting and nurturing children in the community, and many of them live here in Middleton. So to all the children and to those coaches and parents helping them, I want to say thank you for that. All right, now moving back to proclamations. We're going to do Arbor Day. Thank you.
I'm going to read the proclamation honoring Arbor Day 2024. Whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees, and whereas this holiday, called Arbor Day, was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska, and whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world, and whereas trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cut heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife, and whereas trees are a renewable source, giving us paper, wood for homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. And whereas trees in our city increase property values enhance the economic vitality of the business areas, and beautify our community. And whereas the City of Middleton is proud to be designated as a Tree City USA by the Arbor Day Foundation for the past 30 years and have received more than 10 growth awards, reflecting our commitment to urban forestry and the preservation of our urban canopy. And whereas the City of Middleton is committed to the principles of Tree City USA and pledges to continue efforts to preserve and enhance our urban forest for the benefit of present and future generations. Now therefore be it resolved that the Common Council of the City of Middleton and Mayor Kuhn hereby proclaim Arbor Day, April 26, 2024. During this week, we encourage all residents to join in recognizing the importance of trees and woodlands and to support our city's urban forestry program. This proclamation was adopted at a regular meeting of the Middleton Common Council on the 16th day of April, 2024.
Is there a motion?
Mrs. Nelson, I will move approval.
Is there a second?
Norman, I'll
This is
second.
Jackson, I'll second.
I love the enthusiasm. Any comments? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the proclamation for Arbor Day, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Awesome. I love trees.
And the trees are being watered right now.
Yes.
Good job, everyone. Good teamwork. All right, thank you for that. So up next is the proclamation honoring our two retiring city councilwomen who will be dearly missed. The first is proclamation honoring Kendra Wokus for her distinguished tenure on the Middleton Common Council. Whereas Kendra Wokus has ably and faithfully served the city of Middleton for the past 2 years, representing the 2nd District. And whereas during her tenure, Kendra was a conscientious advocate for thoughtful community growth through strategic investments in the city's transportation, water, and sewer infrastructure, a strong supporter of public arts within the community, and a champion of the possibilities and promise of the Pleasant View Golf Course. And whereas during her tenure, Kendra served on the Pleasant View Golf Course Advisory Committee, Landmarks Committee, License and Ordinance Committee, Public Works Commission, and Finance Committee. And whereas as a member of the Finance Committee, Kendra supported ways to provide resources to maintain quality programs and services for Middleton residents, including supporting efforts to secure grants and working to educate the community on the need for an operating referendum to secure the resources necessary to maintain our exceptional city staff. And whereas Kendra served as President Pro Tem during the 2023-2024 council session. Now therefore be it resolved that the mayor and common council do hereby proclaim and commend Kendra for her service, leadership, and good neighbor spirit on behalf of the residents and the city of Middleton. We wish Kendra and her family good health and happiness and hope she will continue civic service to this community in some capacity in the future. This proclamation was adopted at a regular meeting of the Middleton Common Council on the 16th day of April, 2024. Is there a motion?
Mrs.
Schaefer
Nelson.
moves.
Any comments? All those in favor of approving the proclamation, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
Come out here.
Up next, proclamation honoring Jennifer Cole's distinguished tenure on the Middleton Common Council. Whereas Jennifer Cole was appointed by the Common Council to fill a vacancy for the District 4 alderperson on May 16th, 2024. And whereas during her tenure, Jennifer brought a principled commitment and thoughtful demeanor to bear on the issues of the day, including housing, sustainability, and community inclusiveness. And whereas Jennifer served on the Commission on Aging, the Personnel Committee, the Public Safety Committee, and the License and Ordinance Committee. Now therefore be it resolved that the Mayor and Common Council do hereby proclaim and commend Jennifer for her service, leadership, and good neighbor spirit. On behalf of the residents in the city of Middleton, we wish Jennifer and her family good health and happiness and hope she will continue civic service to this community in some capacity in the future. This proclamation was adopted at a regular meeting of the Middleton Common Council on the 16th day of April, 2024. Is there a motion?
This is Haniro. I move approval.
Is there a second?
This is Nelson. I move approval with the amendment that the date on the first line be May 16th, 2023, that Jennifer came on board.
Noted. All those in favor of approving the proclamation, please say aye.
Aye.
Great. It's been passed unanimously.
Just want you to leave.
Just say she's gonna start all over again.
Right, exactly.
Really
You're just
sorry.
gonna, like,
Take your photo.
We'll get you a clean copy.
Yeah, time machine.
Right?
The flowers match.
Okay, so moving on to the consent agenda. Is there a motion for the approval of consent agenda as recommended to council by committee, commission, board?
This is Haniro. I would like to pull item 7. Otherwise, I move approval of items 1 through 6 of the consent agenda.
This is Wokus. I would like to move removal of item 3 from the consent agenda.
Do you agree to that with your?
Yes.
Sounds good. And if that, all those, any comments?
Was that a second?
Yes,
Okay.
second with
Okay.
that
Okay, great.
addendum.
Any other comments? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the consent agenda items 1 and 2, 4, 5, and 6, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes unanimously. Approval of consent agenda item number 3, the ZYC Middleton Fuji Sushi and Hibachi.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. This was not on the agenda of LNO on 4/9/24. I was trying to remember when I saw it, if we had approved it in a prior meeting, which could have been the case, then just due to some staffing and stuff on LNO, it could have just now made it to the agenda. I'm not quite sure. But I would like to pull that for a later date, just so it can be resolved.
Thank you for catching that. Brian, can you check on that item? For me?
Yep, and the motion would be to defer to the May 2nd meeting.
Okay, I would like to move to defer this to the May 2nd meeting. This is Cole, I'll second.
Any comments?
I have a question. The May 2nd meeting of council, will the LNO committee be meeting before then?
Oh, go ahead.
They will not. So if you want to refer to LNO back again, that would be the motion.
I think, yeah, I'm not sure if was a prior thing is the thing. So I will refer it back to LNO.
I'll second that motion to refer back to LNO.
Any comments? In that case, all those in favor of deferring ZYC Middleton Fuji Sushi and Hibachi and to defer it back to LNO, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Moving on to consent agenda item number 7, agreement with Strand Associates for design engineering services for Cayuga Connector Path.
This is Nairo. I move approval of the agreement with Strand Associates for design engineering services for Cayuga Connector Path, deleting the word defend from section 6A and pending city attorney review and approval as recommended by the finance committee.
Is there a second?
Schaefer.
Any comments? Hearing none. All those in favor of approving the agreement with Strand Associates for design engineering services for Cayuga Connector Path, noting the amendments and review by city attorney, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. All right, moving on to agreements. The item number 1 is the Specialized Aviation Service Operations, known as SASO, agreement with Capital Flight LLC. I will ask staff to provide a brief 1 to 2 minute comments.
Sure. So this is an agreement that's up for renewal for special aviation services at the airport performed by Capital Flight. The council originally approved this agreement back towards the end of 2023. Prior to executing the agreement, the applicant asked for reconsideration of a particular clause in the agreement, Section 2A, which relates to the ability of the city to have a discussion about a potential rental occupancy charge at a later date, 5 years after the first 5 years of the agreement. That went to Finance Committee. The Finance Committee asked in March to have it referred back to the Airport Commission for some reconsideration and discussion on potential alternative language that would make both parties happy. Airport Commission met on April 4th to discuss the matter. Based upon their review of other SASOs in the area, we're not able to come up with any language that was common among SASOs, so offered a recommendation back to the Finance Committee either to strike that particular section in its entirety or tie it to the 15-year time period of the SASO agreement. Finance Committee met tonight and then has approved a recommendation to strike the whole paragraph 2.A in its entirety, leaving the option for discussion of a commercial hangar lease at a later date.
Update. All right, is there a motion?
Yes, this is Nairo. I move approval of the Specialized Aviation Service Operations Agreement with Capital Flight LLC, striking section 2A, subject to city attorney review and approval.
Is there a second?
Mormon will second.
Any comments from the city council? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Next up, award of bid, quote, professional services, and I'm going to try and keep moving so that we don't lose electricity. Not that we will, but you know, thunderstorms, you never know. Award of bid to Farner Asphalt Sealers LLC in the amount of $189,162 for 2024 street surface treatments. Is there a motion?
Schaefer will move.
Is there a second?
Mormon will second.
Any comments?
Madam Chair, I just have a comment, I guess it's a question for city administrator. So in the Finance Committee meeting, we did approve this bid. We also had a second motion. Do I need to give the second motion, or can that come just from finance?
It would be appropriate to at least disclose the motion of the council at this point.
Okay. I will disclose that the Finance Committee had a second motion to direct staff to work on preparing a change order to the agreement to use up to the entire $250,000 budgeted for surface treatments in 2024. So at some point, that change order should come back to Finance and then Council.
Appreciate that. So right now we're voting on the award of bid though to
That's
Farner.
right.
Yes.
Okay. All those in favor of approving the award of bid to Farner Asphalt Sealers, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Next up is miscellaneous discussion and potential action on stormwater utility rate study. And I'm going to ask Brian if we can have some staff comments for a minute or two.
Sure. Eric, have Eric come up to the microphone and kind of give you the rundown of the past committee work on this item and where we sit on the topic.
Okay, I hope you all read the rate study in great detail. It's really a simple thing. We're just tallying program costs and converting that into an annual revenue and then converting that into what the average single family home would pay. And we call that an ERU. We are talking about a lot of money here, but what the study results give us is pretty comparable to the rest of the state averages and really at the low end of what other communities in Dane County are paying into their stormwater utility. One question that came up at finance last month, I'm not sure I answered well enough. And that's, we don't have to word the referendum to quote a specific ERU rate. And Matt, correct me if I'm misstating this, but we could basically remove the utility from the levy limit restrictions. And then as we move forward, we would have more freedom to set rates as necessary. So we're asking council for direction on whether to proceed with preparing for a referendum in the fall. We would need everything done by August. Whether to set an ERU rate or leave it open. And if you do want an ERU rate, go with what the study says or change that as you see fit. Or whether or not you need information or anything fleshed out before you give staff direction.
Can we step back to your first question? That was the November. Your first question, you had 3 questions, I think. Your first question was, should we move forward for
Should
November?
we proceed with preparing information for a referendum?
Okay, for November. Is that
November.
Okay. Is there anybody who has thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think we should move ahead with something. Listening to early the discussion, I read this and that $15 thing sort of just came out of nowhere. It was a nothing. So to me, I don't look at like we've come from $15 to we're looking to jump up to some massive amount. I really look at the 40 or I think it's $40 for it is more base level of where we've been, and we've been there for a number of years. So whether it literally goes up to $92, I erase the $15 from the part of the discussion. We needed $30, and whether it was good, but it wasn't necessarily successful. So personally, I think we should move forward. I don't know a dollar amount yet, but I think that's time. It's time to go.
That was my first question. So thank you. You're good. Alder Hanira?
Yes, I think I agree with my colleague from District 1. I think we need to go forward with this referendum. I also agree that the $15 was clearly arbitrary and too low. And, we always pride ourselves on having lower taxes than many of our peer municipalities. I really think, though, that Middleton residents would not take pride in knowing that our stormwater utility rate is at the bottom of our peer cities. I think we have a lot to protect. We've had direct experience with a catastrophic flood. I think there would be support with going at least to the 92. I took an average of the rest of our peer cities minus us, and it comes to $115 divided by 4, showing up on utility or the water utility bill. I don't think it's going to break anyone. We talked about the park fees in lieu a while ago. That was thousands of dollars proposed to be added to the cost of new housing. This is different. This is much more manageable. And if we need to figure out a way to make it affordable to people that are lower end of the income range, we can do that. But I would be in support of a November referendum.
Okay. Anybody else have thoughts on that? Pro or against that? Okay. So we feel, sounds like we've heard from at least two. Nobody's saying no. So question number one, I feel comfortable with. What was your second question, was the monetary amount? Is that accurate?
Or if you want to try to phrase this without a specific ERU.
Right. That's the other option. And I might, do you have any comments on that?
No, other than, yeah, just the statute that required us to go to referendum based on my review of it. We could eliminate this class of fee entirely from the whole levy limit issue and make it, allow us to go ahead and charge for stormwater utility and then adjust the rate in the future, not by referendum, but by ordinance or
Okay.
it'd probably have to be by ordinance, but or we could do as we have in the past, set it to a certain rate, but then, if we find that the costs go up, then that would mean that you'd have another referendum to increase those costs.
Understood. Thank you for sharing that. Now, I know you were talking before, so question number two, go ahead, Alder Schaefer.
Yeah, I think that, I'm comfortable with a 92 or 100 or something. It's one of those services that's critical to the people of the city. And I think I've always enjoyed, I have relatives who live in other places where they're paying a garbage fee and they're paying this fee and a leaf pickup fee. And I think we do really well with the city, and we just need to acknowledge that. It just costs money to have a city work. So I'm comfortable with the referendum. I'm comfortable with looking at the fees. I don't think they're excessive. And I think whether we do it with or without specifying this fee, I think it needs to move forward. So
I'm sorry, Alder Nelson.
Thank you. I wanted to clarify with Matt, if I may, was separating it from the tax levy and making it a separate just utility. That was, I think, discussed during one of our committee of the whole meetings. And we talked about how that would be a little more fair in the sense like churches would have to pay it like a utility, whereas they don't have to pay the taxes. They would have this.
Well, and I believe that's as our stormwater utility fees work now, if that's the case. The question with the question we're
And
discussing
correct me
here
if
is.
I'm remembering that wrong.
Is whether as costs increase. I mean, right now we figured 92 or whatever the number is kind of where our costs are about now. If we do a referendum where we ask to increase the ERU to 92, when costs increase again, however quickly that may be, in order to increase it again, we would need to have another referendum.
Yeah.
Whereas if you pulled stormwater entirely out, did not specify the fee, just excluded that, from the general levy, then, you would review the fees however often you would need to. I mean, because they're fees, they always need to be reflective of costs. So it can't be a runaway sort of thing. It always has to be tied to what our actual costs are, but it could be adjusted by ordinance rather than, a referendum is a fairly significant undertaking.
Yeah, I feel like my preference is running toward separating it from the levy.
I just want to clarify, if we did it with the no dollar amount, do the nonprofits and churches still pay?
Yeah, the basic structure of the fee is not being proposed to change. It's the amount, and then the secondary question of.
I think it's what you're thinking.
I
It's
think-
just not the dollar amount.
Okay,
I just want to make sure. I wanted to clarify.
May I clarify something before Alder Wilkes makes her comment? I think what you're thinking of, Alder Nelson, is when Chair Jim Bachhuber spoke, and he was saying that things like street sweeping and snow plow, that's all done on the general fund. And so churches, for example, don't pay property taxes,
That's
so
what it is.
they
Thank you.
are not paying for that service that they receive. By putting that into this rate case, or the rate study, by folding those costs into the stormwater utility fee, then everybody who pays for an ERU, and that's maybe we all do, churches and other non-property tax paying entities would be contributing to those costs.
Thank you for helping us remember that.
If I could,
So the extent to which our current ERU is not reflective of actual costs, then from that perspective, yeah, tax exempt property is not paying their share, but
if I could clarify, I mean,
That'd be great.
if we pay for these services through general fund, residential property taxes end up paying about 2/3 of them. And if we structure this the way we have been, aside from what we set the rate at, we base the fees on impervious area on a site, which is a proxy for stormwater runoff. And then it's more like a user fee. If you're generating this stormwater runoff, then your fee is commensurate with how much runoff you're generating. And that goes across tax exempt boundaries. So institutional uses are paying.
Great. Okay, Alder Loven?
A question for Matt Fleming. Back to language really of a referendum. Because we talked about two different styles of a referendum. One is we go and we ask for a specific dollar amount. Then we have to go back again in another year or 2 years or 3 years, as opposed to wording the referendum differently or legally changing the referendum to allow the city to have the flexibility for future use. I'm more interested in that because I think it would be nice if the city doesn't get locked into having to always go to referendum for the future. And we have the flexibility to manage this and trust the city just to do it. So thinking from a layperson standpoint, looking at a referendum, no one ever wants to agree to anything that's open-ended. How do we make that palatable language-wise? Wordsmith it, because we can talk all night about what the rate should be and how we get the money from this pot to that pot and whether we charge a church or not a church or a business more or a whatnot less. At the end of the day, all we know is we need more money and we need to do this properly. So how do we sell that in a referendum with the proper language?
well, I mean, I think if that's generally what you want to do, I think we as staff have to go back, develop the referendum question and whatever materials, and there's certain limitations on what we can do within that in terms of lobbying for that. So I think those would be kind of the next questions we'd be bringing back to you.
Because my concern is, this will get out to the public for those who care about following city business. And so I want to make sure that we're ahead of it. So people don't get the wrong impression that, the city wants to just make a referendum and it's open-ended and we can do whatever we want to do. I just want to make sure right now, out of the gate, we take the right approach to package it properly to the citizens to say, this is something we need to do. And we don't want to have to come to you every couple of years and say, well, this year it's $45 and 2 years from now it's $55 and then it's $65 because it's time and money and effort. So I'm just throwing that out there as where I'm coming from if I was a constituent, you're just asking me to go along with this.
Alder Crow?
I'm guessing we could, if we do go with the no dollar amount in the referendum, we could have some sort of policy saying the fee is going to be based on X, Y, and Z costs that are incurred by the city to do these things. So maybe that's part of the answer. It might not be in the referendum question, but we can steer constituents to that, saying, here's how we're going to base the ERU. It's not going to be just whatever the council decides in a particular year.
Yep, exactly.
So,
Very good insight.
Yeah.
Thank you. I know Alder Cole and then Alder Schaefer.
How are our neighboring cities setting their rates? Or, seeing some of the higher rates? Or are
Do you mean, are they
moving-
going to referendum
they-
every time they want to raise it?
Exactly, yeah.
I don't believe so, no.
Okay.
That's a great question. Alder Schaefer?
I agree with all my colleagues on that side of the room. I think but whether there's a way to deal with this referendum in such a where you could set a base value, we actually state a dollar. something like, we need to raise this beginning at $92 so that in the future, then it sets a base for how we then adjust what goes on beyond that and our ability to, whether you can leave the referendum open-ended, but still put a dollar amount. We've heard a lot of people talk about transparency, where they think is lack of transparency, and that's would be my concern too. I don't want to hamstring, but I don't know if there's a way to put those two together in one referendum.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to give it some thought. I'm
Yeah.
not sure if that can really be done in the referendum, but I mean, one option, I mean, we could set forth an ordinance and everything and have that adopted, that it becomes effective upon approval of a referendum.
Yeah, something.
Is one way, if we can't really get into that level of detail in a referendum,
But I think it's important we move forward with doing
but
something.
yeah, I mean, like I said, these are things that we'll begin to think through and we could lay out what exactly can be said in the referendum and in other documents. We have to, the things that we publish, that the city publishes, we lay out factual things, but the city one can't really be lobbying or politicking for it. It has to be more or less factual. This is what will happen. This is the meaning of it, and that sort of thing. So we want to be careful about it.
Much appreciated for the thoughtful comments. Yes, Bill?
Yeah, I just wanted to add a comment to the question about the other municipalities. I believe most, if not all of these, had established stormwater utilities prior to the change in state law requiring a referendum to establish or increase fees. And at least a couple of these that I have experience working with had created their stormwater utility before that date and went through a similar process to what we're looking at now, determining what they wanted to cover, what's the budget, and allocating the fee amount.
Appreciate that. Do you have enough information? Because I know you had 3 questions and we got through 2. Was there anything else you needed?
Third question was whether any of you wanted more information
Thank you.
before making a
You didn't
decision.
give us much, but it was enough.
So good summary. Okay, I think we're good. Do you need anything else from us?
Nope, I think you're directing us to move forward and present you with some language in the near future.
That would be great. And thank you for working with the city attorney as well. Thank you. All right. Let's see here. So moving on to ordinances, first reading. Number 1, an ordinance to create section 7.173F, a neighborhood parade exception to special event permit requirements.
This is Wilkes. I would like to move to suspend the rules.
And this is Cole. I will second.
Okay. Any comments on suspending the rules?
Is this for item 1 or all 3?
Just 1 now.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Good clarifying question. All those in favor of suspending the rules, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Moving back, so this would be the final reading. An ordinance to create section 7.173F, a neighborhood parade exception to special event permit requirements. Is there a motion?
I move approval on behalf of Eleanor.
This is Cole. I will second.
Any comments?
Yeah, I want to know what these parades are.
So this was mostly to address the requirement that neighborhood associations had to get a special event permit for the 4th of July parades that are customarily held by neighborhood associations. There was a fee, there's a lot of paperwork for what ends up being a very small road closure. It creates just a lot of bureaucratic headache. And just more paperwork than necessary. I'd like to recognize Laura Ports for all her work that she does on behalf of permitting and within the city. She is often the first face when people are applying for permits with the city. She's a really great representative of city staff. So she's the one that brought this to the attention that there was a lot of, there's a lot of comments that this seems a little extra.
Yeah,
So.
and I don't have an issue. I just wanted to know.
Right, no, it's something
Never heard of
that's,
such a thing.
right, and this just kind of creates a better fit for that specific need.
Excellent. Thank you for bringing this forward.
And to answer your question, North Lake neighborhood where I live, they do a parade where the kids walk down the street from top of the hill down to Orchid Heights Park. And then they have activities in the park. So, yeah.
We used to call it gang actions.
The police are there usually though, too.
All right, we might need pictures for next year. That sounds amazing.
You can come to the, I'm sure
That's
that
fine.
you'll find one.
All right, it sounds like we are all excited about the parades. All those in favor of the final reading to approve an ordinance to create section 7.173F, a neighborhood parade exception to special event permit requirements, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Number 2, an ordinance to amend section 15.04 to reduce school restricted parking areas.
I move approval on behalf of L&O.
Is there a second?
And this is Cole.
Second.
Any comments?
Just a question about the neighbors who will be affected by,
So these are for, this is,
there's a number of streets that are opening up and, yeah.
yes, and I don't know if you want to pull up the ordinance really quick, Brian, so we can see.
I guess the question is, be a little more specific. Has anybody taken the opportunity to talk to people who live in these neighborhoods who will now have a bunch of cars parked in front of their house and they can't park themselves? Because that's what you're doing. You're opening up more streets for.
Well, I believe there had been cars parked here. So in addition to this, there's also a permit process that they had to do. And so they're I believe they've been issuing all those permits, so there have been cars there. But the problem is that those permits could only be issued to teachers and so that was proving to be a little too restrictive. So yeah, this shouldn't increase the number of cars. It will really just provide more flexibility of between students and staff who gets to park there.
All right, thank you.
Good clarifying question. Any other comments? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the ordinance to amend section 15.04 to reduce school restricted parking areas, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Number 3, an ordinance to establish fees for boarding house, short-term rental licenses and zoning permits.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we suspend the rules.
Is there a second?
Schaefer, second.
Any comments? All those in favor of suspending the rules for item number 3, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Returning to number 3, an ordinance to establish fees for boarding house, short-term rental licenses and zoning permit. Is there a motion?
This is Wilkus. I move approval on behalf of L&O.
Is there a second?
This is Cole. I'll second.
Any comments? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving, and this is a final reading, an ordinance to establish fees for boarding house, short-term rental licenses and zoning permit, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Moving on to resolutions. Resolutions number 1, resolutions 2024-18, approving the assignment of 2023 general fund year-end fund balances.
This is Nairo. I move approval as recommended by the Finance Committee.
Lorman, second.
Very good. Any comments? And I'm looking to Bill if he'd like to talk for a minute. Tell me some things. I mean, that's a story.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we do have the opportunity this evening to report on a very strong surplus for the city of Middleton in 2023. That's a little over $2.1 million in gross surplus within the general fund of revenues above expenditures. There's a combination of things that lead to that. The single largest item is the increase in investment income for the city due to being able to take advantage of higher interest rates. That represents about $750,000 of the total. The next largest item is savings from vacancies, primarily within the police department. And the city has taken actions to direct a portion of those savings towards a retention program, which we're seeing some benefits from in the police department. There were also savings in capital accounts and various other items. The resolution before you would allocate that surplus to various pools for specific projects. Those are represented by the assigned fund balance items, and then have an increase in the city's unassigned fund balance or its rainy day or reserve fund of about 600,000, which brings us to about 30% of the next year's budget. So it's an opportunity to use these funds to set aside money for these projects without having to fit them in the operating budget or having to borrow for these projects.
For those of you who've not read your municipality magazine this month, I'd like to point out that Bill Burns's best practices were highlighted in there, and I thoroughly enjoyed reading them. So thank you for your leadership. All right, so we had a motion and a second. Any other comments? Hearing none. All those in favor, are we approving it, Brian?
Yes.
Okay, great. All those in favor of approving the resolution 2024-18, approving the assignment of 2023 general fund year-end fund balances, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Moving on to committee appointments, there are 3 listed here. So that's okay. So the first one is appointment of Marta Bechtel to the library board. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
This is Jackson, I'll second.
Thank you. Any comments? Hearing none, all those in favor of appointing Marta Bechtel to the library board, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Number 2 is appointment of Nate Day to the Plan Commission. Is there a motion?
This is Haniro. I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
Schaefer will second.
Any comments? All those in favor of approving Nate Day to the Plan Commission, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Number 3 is the appointment of Jennifer Cole to the Community Development Authority.
This is Nelson. It's my honor to move approval.
Is there a second?
This is Jackson, I'll gladly second that.
Oh, I'm letting Jackson do it. Thank you.
Any comments? I'll say, even though it's not this topic, Alder Wokus, if you would ever like to step back in to serve, please put your name forward.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
All those in favor of approving the appointment of Jennifer Cole to the Community Development Authority, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes 7-1 because Alder Cole stepped out. So
Well,
she's,
7-0.
It's 7-0.
oh, thank you. Thank you for the correction. Still learning.
She didn't vote against herself.
As appropriate.
I'm gonna get out my Robert's Rules book and I'll get better. All right. Up next is any discussion on any updates on committees, commissions, and board by council members and mayor. Any updates?
This update is more geared toward our new council. No offense, but this is a good place for me to put this in. With a great idea from Mark Opitz. I think it would be a really great way for all of us to get to know everyone else's district if everyone submitted like 3 photographs of what makes their district great. And
Oh, I
at
love that idea.
each meeting we can do 1 or 2 districts.
That's a great idea.
I love it.
That's kudos, Mark. He's like, don't.
Can we add it?
Can we do it? Can we do it in numerical order? So My colleague from District 1 goes first.
Yeah.
That's right.
Get some pictures tonight.
PowerPoint.
I was trying to figure out alphabetically as now.
Seniority.
I love
Seniority.
So what I would suggest is that you get photos to Brian and then he can maybe put them up on the screen when we're submitting and talking about our awesome districts.
I love it.
Would you do it as part of the public comment section?
We can add a separate, under this discussion section in the agenda, we can add another bullet point to have that as a standing monthly agenda item or something like that.
Didn't hear much.
All right, with no other topics, I'm going to go ahead and adjourn. Is it theme day?
There are probably about 4 or 5 different
Synodi is
acceptable,
how-
Synodia, Sinai, there's several
Who knows?
acceptable
Who knows?
pronunciations.
I'm adjourning based on that.
Sign it.
And then we're going to go ahead and convene the new council. So we'll just wait for our friends to step away.
Before we do that, can I have the council as currently construed, please stand just so I can do a photo of you guys and then we'll do a photo of the new council.
It's the photo night.
I'm like, that was last year, by the way. Like what Larry said. Get to be in the middle either. I'm sorry, friend, you're with me. I can say I'm in shields, but I'm still very taller than you. Get in the board.
3, 2, 1.
There were a number of them.
Thank you.
What's it really?
So the good news is Bradenton City.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know you were back. I thought you were sitting down.
Oh, there.
Just down.
That's not mine.
Thank you.
I think we just need a minute. While we do that, can our new members step forward? To the front. Jeff's gonna keep, sorry, all the airporting. We're walking, come forward. Excellent. We're walking, we're walking. That's good. Thank you. Maybe hang with them. Hang with them.
Nice flowers.
I think they take a picture like towards them, so stand with where Ahanairo is. You know, the funniest thing is no one ever directed me the first year, so look at me, I'm trying to help you with like.
I think they're talking to you.
And you have a copy for us to sign? Yes.
As long as
Yeah. They need to take a picture. So.
I was very pleased.
Okay, that works. Now, yeah, that's good.
Do you want to take a picture after they're done? I have certificates for them so they can hold their, oh yeah, they do.
So I just want to make sure they go. Thanks.
Are we ready? Quiet in the gallery. All right. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Kim Madden.
I, Kim Madden.
Todd Kalish. Lisa Hanaro.
Lisa Haniro.
Randall Crowe. Having been elected to the office of Alderperson.
Having been elected to the office of Alderperson.
For the city of Middleton.
For the city of Middleton.
I swear that I will support. I swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin.
and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin.
I will faithfully discharge the duties
I will faithfully discharge the duties
of said office
of said office
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability,
So help me God.
so help me God.
All right, I'm going to have you each individually sign the oath book. I'll do Kim first. And you're going to sign right there. All right, Todd. Right here.
Okay, let's do one photo with the advocates and then we'll have the whole council come together and we'll do one photo.
How many terms has Lee served?
What do you want, everybody?
Everybody.
Oh, and Jackson's purple. All right, a little more together.
Do you want us to put the certificate somewhere else or?
More together. All right, more together.
That's a lot of effort.
I like.
Ready?
Oh, she's in the right.
Katie and Katie's side of the back.
I know, I'm like. Well, I think this.
You're the mayor.
3, 2, 1. Perfect.
At least you're tall. So welcome. You should be getting your name plates. And I want to make sure that you feel, are they coming? That you feel welcome today. Have a seat. We are the new council of 2024 and we are duly convened. I'm going to ask for the election of the council president, president pro tem, and plan commission representative. Is there a motion?
Madam Chair, I nominate Katie Nelson from District 3 to the position of council president.
Is there a second?
Laura Mennel, second.
Any comments? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving council president Katie Nelson as president, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Okay, and then for president pro tem,
Madam Chair, this is Aniro. I would like to nominate Randall Crowe, the alder from District 8, to the position of president pro tem.
Laura Mennel, second.
Very good.
any comments? All those in favor of approving all President Pro Tem Alder Crowe, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Congratulations. And lastly, Plan Commission Representative.
This is Nelson. I would like to nominate Alder Haniro as Plan Commission Representative.
Is there a second?
Laura Mennel, second.
Any comments? Hearing none, all those in
Madam
favor?
Chair,
Jackson's got his hand up.
My apologies. Yes?
Madam Chair, I don't know if I can, but I would like to nominate Alder Schaefer for Plan Commission.
Okay. Brian, can you help me through the procedure?
Yep. So we have well, I guess first is Alder Shaver, do you accept the nomination? Okay. Is there a second for Alder Jackson's nomination of Alder Shaver?
I'll second it.
Okay, we have two candidates for that position. So what I'll do is I'll read off the names and then vote aye for the individual that you want to vote for. Those in favor of Alder Hanairo, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Raise your hands.
Yep.
Oh.
Okay, and those in favor of Alder Schaefer as Plan Commission representative, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, Alder Hanairo has won that vote by a vote of 5-3.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
While I appreciate the pronouncement, I believe it has to be by a 2/3 vote of the council members. I don't know if that means that the mayor, it's not a tie, but the mayor, I believe the wording under Robert's rules is to decide the outcome.
Brian, can you review the ordinance for me?
Lost my internet.
Oh, well, he lost his internet. So just so you know, there was hail before. So there's a lot of
Yeah,
things.
and I think I was running off my phone and my internet out of bed. Let's see if I can run too.
There was a tornado in Green County.
I have my AI to look it up.
Okay, under section chapter 2 of the city 2.06 of the city ordinances, alderperson member of the Plan Commission shall be elected by 2/3 vote of the Common Council.
So would we generally go to a second vote or have them give a speech? Because maybe that is something that may be relevant.
Yep. So we have two individuals that have been nominated. So I think it would be appropriate to have the individuals state their case for the position and then have a second vote on the matter.
All right. Since Alder Hanairo was nominated first, can you please give a 1 to 2 minute speech?
Sure. I spent the last year working on the Plan Commission, as many of you know. It was a very significant learning experience. I walked into it not knowing we were going to be updating the zoning code and the comprehensive plan. I thought we would just be reviewing plans, and we had these two very big projects. I can tell you I have never missed a Plan Commission meeting. I have only missed 2 meetings in my entire 2 years on council. That's how dedicated I am to this work. I extensively prepare. I think anyone who paid attention to the council meetings where we were discussing the zoning code, the comprehensive plan, the lighting code, the outdoors or the sign code, I think you recognize what a hard worker I am, how extensively I prepare, the research I do, the time I commit. Later, we'll be talking about recommendations for the mayor's appointments to committees. Workforce housing is a passion of mine. It's been my assignment the past year. I hope it will be my assignment in the coming year. And I think there's a natural connection between the Plan Commission and workforce housing. I have been the voice of sustainability at the Plan Commission meetings. The mayor will attest that every chance I get, it's kind of a broken record, but every chance I get, I ask the developers, I let them know we have a goal of achieving 100% of this community's energy needs through clean, renewable sources of energy by the year 2050. And I ask them, will your development help us or will it hinder us? And it's my pleasure to be the one to always be bringing this up. This coming year, the Plan Commission is going to be working on the potential changes to the zoning code, because all along we recognized and would put items on a parking lot to be considered later. We recognize with the extensive update like the one we did last year, there are going to be tweaks that we'll need to make. And I feel like my understanding of the zoning code is second, certainly to the staff, but I would say it's perhaps more than the average Plan Commission member. And then finally, I would just note, we're also going to be working on the subdivision ordinance, which is tied to the zoning code. I'd be honored to be elected by my colleagues. I would note that with the mayor's departure from the Plan Commission, we are down to one woman on the Plan Commission, and I think diversity is an issue. So I would hope to receive the vote of my colleagues, and it would be my honor to represent you.
Okay, he's muted. Go ahead.
All right, thank you. I'm going to defer to my esteemed colleague from District 6. She's worked really hard. I spent 3 years on the Plan Commission, so I know it well and understand it. And part of the reason I'm here is because of my work with that. And at some point, that's something I still would like to do. But I had 3 years. You've only had one. I think I should just defer and back out of this one. So, but thank you for those who supported this.
Very kind of you, sir. Do we need to vote again?
Yeah, so just to clarify, you're withdrawing your nomination? Okay, so having withdrawn his nomination, there's one nomination on the floor for Alder Hanairo. That would be the item the council is voting on now.
Okay, so any other comments? All those in favor of approving the Plan Commission Representative Alder Hanairo, please say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Okay, congratulations. Thank you. Number 4, confirmation of mayor's recommended council appointments to city committees. Is there a motion?
This is Jackson. I'll make a motion for confirmation.
Norman, second.
Madam Mayor, just to clarify, on the document that's up on the screen, it shows the mayor being listed as the Plan Commission Chair. Is that it's incorrect? That needs to be stricken? Just want to verify that for the record.
Thank you for that.
Madam Mayor, I can make that amendment to, I guess, strike this from the list. The chair of the Plan Commission being Mayor Kuhn. I also would note that as much as I am hoping my colleagues on Finance Committee will pick me to be the WRMC SWUB representative, it is by recommendation of a member of the Finance Committee by their colleagues. So Alder Jackson and Alder Lorman, I hope at our first meeting in May that I'll get your support.
If we're making corrections to the document, don't know if it's important or not, but noted as chair for airport and conservancy lands would be myself.
Excellent.
And I don't know, is anybody else just take a pass at it and make sure you're noted in the proper chair or not position?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
just a clarification. Alder Lorman, I know you're the chair right now for those two, but those The ones that are noted as chair in
Oh, that
here
has to
are
be
the
up for
standing, they're the standing
standing.
committees that the
Okay.
mayor appoints to.
I was gonna say that's hard because, and thank you for that reminder, because I know that last year we talked about the airport because you were newly on the airport as an alder, and so I think we were doing that as a transition.
Well, they elect,
They elect
every
it.
other committee elects its own chair and vice chair, except for the 3 standing committees.
Okay.
And you also appoint the Public Works chair.
I have enough work to do with that. There's a lot of appointments. So for our newer members, just so you know, we'll be doing each committee recommendations in the coming meetings. So thank you for those updates. And I think
One
also on like everything, just so you all, except for plan, you're on this one. Oh, yeah. And so like you actually get more as president, so that's how. No worries. Yeah. Alder.
I just wanted to note one more thing, and that is the CDA appointments are for the duration of the alderperson's term. So we're reaffirming or just acknowledging that Alder Nelson continues to serve on the Community Development Authority.
Very good. Any other comments?
Brian, could I see the bottom of the page?
Oh, yeah, 4 and 8.
Please.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Oh, that's what it says. Council President. There we go. Thank you. And I just want to point out that with the work that the prior council did, including many of you here in putting committees together, really significantly reduced the number per person for the new alders. Just so you know, prior to becoming mayor, I was on 6 committees, which some of the more senior councilmen, I think, are at 4 or 5. You know, especially if it comes from one committee and they go to another. So if at some point you feel zesty and would like additional duties, I'm sure some people can look in 6 months and share, and same for others. If you are in a committee that doesn't meet often or have capacity, let me know. I am sure we can find you some more work. Any other comments? Go ahead, Alderman.
I saw one more note that I wanted to bring up because I was on the Public Works Committee last year, and in our ordinances, in Chapter 1, the standing committee appointments, including Public Works, are effective as of today's date. So the 2 who have been appointed to Public, or will be appointed shortly to Public Works, you will be on deck next week.
Congratulations. Yeah, in advance. All right. All those in favor of approving the council appointments to city committees, please say aye.
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 Thank you. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. And with that, please adjourn. Have a great night. Congratulations to our newest alders. You did a great job.
Thank you for timing the